Hey y'all, it's Kate from LoveStory, and today we're going to talk about Guards Guards by Terry Pratchett. Let's see here. I absolutely loved this book. It was so funny, such a great book to read. I love Terry Pratchett now. This is my second book of Terry's. I had read The We Free Men before this, and I loved that. And this book was recommended by Ellen at Library of Alexandria and Katrina, and I will link both of their stuff down below in the description. So like I said, I loved this book so much. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The dry British sense of humor was just what I needed right now. It had that Monty Python feel that was great in between the deep reads that I had recently, and also like a palate cleanser. It got me excited about reading again, and I had felt in a kind of a slump in November. I was reading really slowly, not as quickly as I usually am. I was still reading, but it wasn't like it usually was, and so this was good to get me excited again about reading, and good in preparation for the long month of December readathons that's coming up next week. There's so much to read next week. Speaking of the readathons in the month of December, I like this book so much. I'm going to be reading hopefully book 2, the second book in this series, in December, so look for that coming up. So my favorite character by far in this was Errol, or also known as Good Boy Bindle Featherstone. He was just so adorable. I loved him. Best dragon ever. And then one of the other things I really loved about Guards Guards is that among all of the humor and the craziness that was going on, there was also like real talk about duty and honor and responsibility and monarchy and government and what should and shouldn't happen in society. And the idea of the city watch and what is their real responsibility, and their real duties. And I really loved that kind of balance of real serious talk hidden among all of the humor of Guards Guards. So some of my favorite quotes from the book, there's a bunch because I just loved it so much. So it was one of those bottles that emptied themselves. Talking of like wine, alcohol bottles is just great. You get that feeling when you've drank too much and all of a sudden the bottle is empty and you're wondering how that happened. The reason that cliches become cliches is that they are hammers and screwdrivers in the toolbox of communication. So true. It's like saying, you know, cliche is a cliche because it has a base of truth. Somewhere, sometime, it happened, and now it's a cliche because it's happened so many times. And it's one of those things that everyone uses to convey some kind of a communication, some kind of thoughts. So just the way that Pratchett phrased that was so, like, you could understand it completely. And then there's 2 of my favorite quotes about books, because as you might have seen in my vlogs, there is a magical library, and the librarian is an orangutan, a person that was accidentally magically turned into an orangutan. And so the last 2 quotes I have are quotes about books from the library. Books bend space and time. So true. Like, that's the whole point of escapist books, is that you can just fall into a book and go to any time, any place, any era, whether it's something in the past, something in the future, something that is completely made up, like the Discworld. Books are amazing. Books are magical. And then the last quote I have, crimes against books were the worst kind of crimes, which we all can agree on that, I think. I love books, and it's just one of those things that if you crimes against books are the worst kind of crimes. Obviously not actually the worst kind of crimes, but it's one of those thoughts that you can relate with because you love books so much. So Guards by Terry Pratchett. I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I didn't give it 5 stars even though I loved it at the 5-star level for 2 reasons. One, it had no chapters. It had like very short breaks where I'm told it's supposed to be like chapter breaks, but it didn't have actual chapters. And so when I read, for me it was hard because when I read, I usually read by chapters because, as you know, I'm reading several books at a time, so I switch in between chapters. But with this, there was no chapters, so I kind of had to parse off. I think I did like about 10 pages at a time, which took a slower read for me. But then once I got to like 100 pages left, I just had to finish it. So that is one of the reasons why I knocked it down. And also, some of the characters went by different names depending on who was the narrator and what situation we were in. And that caught me off guard at first, and I was trying to figure out, okay, this sounds like this other character, but they're being referred to by this name. So who is this person? But then once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So those are my 2 kind of notches against guards. They're not big at all. They're things that are easily overcome. They weren't hindrances to my enjoyment of the book. I still enjoyed it tremendously and recommend it to everyone that needs a good laugh. But that's what I gave it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, one more time, Guards by Terry Pratchett. Pick it up now. It's hilarious. If you love Monty Python, you will love this book so much. It's fantastic. I love it. Thank you, Ellen and Katrina, for recommending it. I can't wait to go in on book 2, Men at Arms, in December. Thank you all, and that's it for now, and you guys rock. Keep reading. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. We'll see y'all next time.